Well, Vincent, thank you so much for being here. We're really happy to have you, and we're really interested in looking at energy healing and how it can help us overcome adversity. But before we get going, we always ask every expert to share a 3 feet from gold story. A story where they found themselves up against this possibly insurmountable wall. And through their friends, family, maybe it was a good book, digging deep down inside, you were able to overcome all the adversities you faced and you broke through into success. Do you have a particular story you can think of that you could share with us that will inspire everybody watching?
Yeah, absolutely. First, thanks for having me today because I'm feeling very honored and I'm very grateful for this interview with you now. So, yeah, I think actually the best story that I could tell is the story that led me to become an energy healer, because before I didn't even know about healing. I think there are many people who barely don't know what it is when they speak English, but my mother tongue is French. And I can tell you, in French-speaking countries, the word healing, if you translate it, the meaning is absolutely different. And no one is, it's not developed like it is in the US, for example. I'm here in the UK now. So in the UK, it's more developed than in French-speaking countries, but it's much less developed than in the US, for example. So I never heard about that. And I was a web designer, actually. I was a successful web designer. And one day after work, I came back home and I found myself in a terrible, terrible pain in my belly. I was literally rolling on the floor because of the pain. So my wife called the doctor, and the doctor came, the family doctor, and immediately he sent me to the emergency room. So I found myself at the emergency room. They gave me painkillers, the most powerful painkillers they had, and it was still painful. So the next day I'm in the hospital there, and I learned that I got kidney stones, And when I say kidney stones, actually, when I saw the scan of my kidneys, these stones were big like my thumb, and there were between 15 to 20 stones in each of my kidneys. So I spent 1 week in the hospital, and I had to insist to get out of the hospital, but nevertheless, I get out of the hospital. But before getting out of the hospital, I met a doctor there, a specialist, a urologist. And this doctor told me that I had to be operated on immediately because, basically there are 3 different kind of kidney stones. And 2 of them, it's possible to break them up with laser rays. So you don't need an operation for that. But I got the 3rd one. And the 3rd one, you need to operate. So he was telling me that I was in big danger, that I could die anytime because these stones were able to block my system at any time. So I was there in front of him, and, during this whole conversation, he never looked at me. Not even when I entered the room, he was on his computer, and he didn't even look at me. So the first thing that came to my mind at this time was, maybe I have to be operated on, but not by you, because I want someone who, if you are a doctor, I think the minimum is that you look at me, if you talk to me, otherwise I just have the feeling that I'm just a way for you to make money, or I don't know, I'm just, you don't, exactly. So, but very quickly I thought, no, I don't want to be operated on. I'm sure there's another solution to it. there's a better solution. I don't want an operation on my body because I don't want the trauma of it on my body. And I'm sure there's a better solution to it. So I came back home and I started searching about what are kidney stones, on the internet. And most importantly, what I did is that I started by listening to my body, started by talking with my kidneys and saying, okay, what does that mean? What I'm supposed to do with that? And very quickly, I found out that for any crisis to start, there was two things needed. The first thing was that I needed to be in a certain feeling, in a certain mood. And this feeling was that if I was in the feeling of not being able to act upon anything in my life, really completely submissive, then the second thing was just one little event could trigger the crisis. So when I realized that, I said, okay, I can't control the events, but I can work on my feeling. So each time I was recognizing the crisis was starting, because I knew the pain, I was able to recognize it. What I was doing is that I was calling my doctor. My doctor was absolutely amazing. It's an homeopath. And he was really listening to me. And just by talking to him for 5 or 10 minutes, sharing my feeling, I was able to change my feeling, realizing that it was not real. It was just my feeling. And just by doing so, the crisis was stopped. And it happens like that, not once, but like it repeated, because I knew from there, okay, no, when a crisis starts, I know how to stop it, because I know how to change my feeling. I know how to change my energy. So the crisis, it's like you put a seed on the road. If there's not the right environment, it will never grow. It's the same with any disease. Every day we have thousands and thousands of diseases going through our body, but we have an immune system. So the disease can't develop in our body. It's the same with that. I had the kidney stones, but they could only block my system if I was in a certain energy allowing that they would block my system. So now I was out of danger because I knew how to stop any crisis. But I still had these stones in my kidneys. So then the next question was, oh, what do I do with them? Or could I get rid of those? And intuitively, without knowing at all what I was doing, I visualized the stones bringing up a little bit and leaving my body. And I was doing that every single day, It was like as soon as I had some free time, I was focusing my mind on it. And 6 months later, I go back to the hospital and I have a scan on me, and there is only 3 tiny stones left. But when I tell the story to the doctor, he didn't even listen to me. He didn't listen to me, like many doctors do. So I knew at that point that what I was doing was working. So again, the doctor told me, you have to be operated on because there's one of this tiny stone that is really in a bad place that could block your system anytime. But again, I refused completely to be operated on, and I kept doing what I was doing. And like some months later, I have a new scan on me, and there's nothing left. And after that, for years, I believed that what I experienced was something unique, that, I was not aware that other people were doing similar things in the world, and that it was happening for many people from many different situations. It's only years later that when I connected with someone who talked to me about some healing modalities, that I was really interested into that. And then I saw a video on YouTube, and then I searched about different healing modalities, and I realized, okay, so I'm not alone having such experience. There are many people. There are people who, and it's not something new. It's something very ancient. It's just that we forgot about it in our civilization. You know, ancient civilizations, they were doing it on a daily basis. They were doing it. You know, you can call it prayer. You can call it, I don't know. And then I decided to train in theta healing. So then I realized that it was really not something new for me. It was just something that I had to reconnect with and to practice more and more to become better and better with it.